Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Thursday. That's right, it's another Thursday. That means it's Gear Talk time. Last time we left off, the last episode we talked about in this mini discussion series I have created for you all was talking about Thai and some very serious subject matter involving that. It's YouTube, so watch your language in the first few moments. We're going to continue that topic today. So we talked about Thai. And it very well flows into what we're going to talk about for the next couple of videos, because this video is going to be about Maria. And we kind of all already understand where this is kind of going. I guess this is where I get my little spiel out of the way. Okay, warning for everyone. This video is going to have very sensitive subject material in it. It is very triggering for some. It can be very dark. It is a very dark story involving Maria. So you have been warned. We are going to talk about dark themes later on. But for now, well, I guess let's start off in a gray area before we get to the darkest pit, shall we? Talking about Maria, we don't have to do what we did with Thai that much. Thai, we had to start with the very furthest back we could go with his story. Maria, we don't really need to do that. An overview, Maria and Dom knew each other when they were very young. It was kind of love at first sight for Dom. He ended up getting her pregnant. They had their first kid. He tried to support them, and then he went off to join the military. That's where he was. He finally had his second daughter. She actually gave birth to a second daughter the same night that Carlos died. And that kind of leads us up through all of that until we finally get to E-Day, where this is where the real stuff actually happens with Maria's story, where it gets kind of dark. Leading from all of that, where it's kind of like, oh, you know, happy lovebirds, love at first sight, and it leads forward, we get to the point where it's the 6 weeks apiece, everything's nice, they're having a family, everything's happy-go-lucky, and we end up ending that on Emergence Day. Okay, this is where things are automatically bad. So, like I said, them having their son and then them having their daughter, everything's great. Maria's parents are still around. They sent him off to Maria's parents so they can have a nice day together, a nice day where they can just be together and have some quality time. Benedicto and Sylvia get killed that day, fall into an emergence hole. When it comes up, they're gone. Maria's parents, they die in the process, and yeah, Maria's children are gone and dead. This does not do anything well for Maria. Not only are her parents being buried, but we also have the fact that now we also have both of her children dead. Dom takes this horribly. He doesn't take it well. Maria takes it to the nth degree horribly, which is understandable. This is her family and her children are gone. So she gets sent in and they pretty much diagnose, yes, she has very heavy depression and her PTSD is very bad. So, honestly, it pretty much turns into Dom having to take care of his wife. She's on antidepressants, and sometimes she doesn't even take them. She's constantly, and this is like after they even get a house, and again, everything's happy-go-lucky at the time. Dom rents out, they get this house, and she spends so much time in this house going to her children's rooms and cleaning them, and just always in them. Just spiraling her further down. Now, I'm not saying this is a right or wrong thing to do, but she's grieving so heavily, honestly, to her and to those around, even Dom. There's really no way out of this grief. There really isn't. So she's stuck in all of this. She goes for walks now and then around town, and don't forget, this is during the locusts, and she is going around, and it's a sad situation where she's just trying to not even clear her mind. We learn later on she's going for her walks because she fully believes her children are still alive. We don't learn until later on. No, she believes they're alive. She believes she has seen them. And it is depressing as ever. Like, at one point, even Marcus, like Dom's trying to have Marcus see all of this for how bad it is. And Marcus sees, like, no, Maria's, like, gone. Like, she is just mentally just out of here. And it's horrible to see because Dom, we know Dom, a cheerful, loving guy, loves his wife, family, everything, love. He is the caretaker of Maria at this point. And again, Maria is still cognitive, she's still aware, but she's in the state of believing that the things that she loved the most are just gone. Well, not gone. She doesn't believe they're gone, I should say that. She believes they're still around. Until one fateful day, she goes out for her walk. She does not come back. So you might think to yourself, okay, she's gone out for her walk. What does this mean? What does this mean when she's gone? Where is she? Well, to sum it up, Dom spends a good amount of time looking for her, roughly 10 years, give or take a few years added on or taken from that. This man, let's give some props to this man for a moment before we continue. This man took a photo that was taken by his brother, his late brother, of him and his wife, that she wrote on the back of, "I will always be with you." And he took that with him and asked every person he ever came across, whether it be Stranded, Cog, he had connections with both for them to go look out. Have you seen this woman? Have you seen her lately? She was last seen in this area. He spends 10 years looking. Imagine this. A world that's pretty much destroyed and everyone's just trying to survive. Your wife is out there somewhere. And it's 10 years. There are creatures, an army of creatures that will kill humans on sight, period, no questions. She has wandered off onto her own somewhere. And it is 10 years later. And this man is still dedicated and 100% believing this woman is alive. Oh my God. Okay, so where did she go? Well, we don't really learn until you put pieces together. I even had to look things up and actually, like, the wiki does a good job of painting the story, and I do believe the wiki, for this one at least. What happened is that she left, she went looking, and she did end up joining a Stranded group. She was a part of a Stranded camp. Now, the camp she joined, I don't remember the name of the leader, but it was assumed by Dom, whatever Stranded group she ended up joining, they had to have understood her situation and her mental state in order for her to still be alive and for them to take care of her. They had to have understood her mental conditioning. They would have had to have made sure that she was well fed and taken care of. Dom understood whatever group she ended up with, they were at least like good people. Because the Stranded, they aren't the greatest people in general. Especially Ex-Cog, not good. We learned that in Judgment. Ex-Cog Stranded, not the nicest of people. Stranded in general, depends on who you get. He's going through Franklin. He's going through all these people to try and find her. He's kind of assumed she's with the Stranded somewhere. That's where my wife is. So he's searching 10 years of this. And Maria never once... At this point, I have to believe Maria knows that he's looking for her. Maria never, like, steps up or speaks or puts herself out in the public eye of all the connections to say, like, here I am. Never once. It brings me to the thought, and this is again very sad, she's purposely choosing not to return to Dom because she's still searching for her kids. She spent 10 years looking. Now, continuing on, the events of the games are still happening while Dom is searching. We see this in 1, we see this in 2. Unfortunately, we see the aftermath in 3. We'll get to that in the next video. We're going to finish up this. This mainly takes place in 2. So he's looking. She's not speaking up because she's still with the group and looking. Again, decent people, they're traveling. And we also see that essentially, after the events of the first game, after the Lightmass bombing, they're traveling and having to move because the Locusts are also kind of on the move at this point. And they end up going to Mount Kadar. They bunker down there. And they're waiting for Chaps' group to join in, and we know of Chaps from the first game. And this is also how we learn where Maria pretty much is from Chaps in the second game. And pretty much, they get captured. She gets captured by the Locust. And I will tell you something. When we find her, Dom finally finds her. He has loved her since childhood. He has had children with her. He has taken care of her. He has searched for her for 10 years. He finds her. It is not a pretty picture when he finally finds her. I don't really feel I need to go into context of like every small thing that went into what she went through when she was with the other group. That I think that's for a Maria discussion video in general, or even a Stranded discussion to bring that up. I don't think this is the right place, because we're going to get into some serious subject matter, and instead of diddling around, I think we should just jump into this, because spoiler warning for everyone, trigger warnings, everything. Maria is found by Dom. Maria has already gone through the act the locusts have of processing. Now, processing, it's hard to talk about because processing is the act of what they were putting Ty through. You remember Ty and what he did? Maria also went through that. While Ty was going through hours of it, not even a full day of it, Maria went through weeks of it. Maria was in there for a while getting tortured. She was in the torture pods, everything. And Maria's not Ty. They even say in the behind the scenes for the comics, the reason they wrote Ty's story as they did was to show even an unbreakable gear can be broken. If he lasted that long, Maria had no chance. Dom finds her while they are trying to invade Nexus, while they're getting there. And at first, he sees his wife, the woman he loves, the woman he last saw 10 years ago, come out of the pod, and he embraces her. It takes Marcus having to tell him, like, Dom. That's all he says, like, take a look. And we see Maria, pretty much an angel in Dom's eyes. She has thoroughly been beaten. She's emaciated. And one of the final acts of processing, she has also been lobotomized. It's very hard to watch this scene and not, like, feel something. Because we have followed Dom. We followed him through the first and second games. We've been with him. We understand what he's looking for, how much she means. And finding this shell of a human being, eyes are just whited out, doesn't even know it's Dom, doesn't know anything anymore. And he doesn't know how to... He's sitting there looking at Marcus. I don't know what to do. And this man is pretty much basically about to go into tears. I think at this point he's about to. When he's with Maria, I think he does start crying. He's like, I don't know. And Marcus kind of just leaves him to take care of the situation. And it's very strong with what he chooses to do, but I feel it's the best decision, and it was a very good decision. An amazing direction. He, while talking to her, takes out a Boltok pistol. And he proceeds to apologize. He says, I'm sorry. I tried. I did everything I could. And he places it to her head. And the scene cuts away. We follow Marcus as he's walking. And we hear one lone gunshot go off. Marcus stops for a moment. And keeps going. Dom finally comes back. And it's Dom is here, so we know what happened. He took it upon himself to stop the life of his wife. Maria was a beacon of hope in this game. You know, we talked about Ty, he was a beacon for the army. Maria, while she wasn't like a beacon for a large group of people, one singular person she was a beacon of. Which is kind of a great contrast to Ty, because she was Dom's one source. His one source of joy, hope, the one spark he had left for life. Maria dies. Dom, and we'll get in this in the next video again, you can kind of guess what it's going to be, he even says, the only person that's left is Marcus. I have nothing left. Like, and it's very strong because of just everything Dom goes through. Everything he did go through to find Maria. Maria went through so much. She went through the processing act itself. She survived on her own with the Stranded. Now, I don't think she formed relationships or anything. I think her mental state, she was looking for her children the entire time. She never found them. And that's the story pretty much of Maria. A little shorter than I make these videos, but Maria's character for, you know, just the act of the tragedy, it's not that long. The build up to it is the biggest part, but the actual tragedy itself and what led to it, those aren't that long to talk about. That's the fireworks show. That's like the one you wait for that goes off and it's gone in an instant. Like it's felt so much. It's brought up so much inside of games. Dom carries it with him for the rest of his life. It's very powerful. Honestly, I want to believe possibly even more powerful than in Ultimate when I said one of the most powerful scenes was Rom's introduction. This might honestly weigh more than that. I think it does weigh more than that because the character development is automatically changed with Dom. Maria's no longer around, it's something you have to think about. Again, like Ty, the army saw him as something, like the entire groups of people, but Maria was focused on by one person. True, Marcus cared about her, other people did care, but Dom was on a mission, and that mission ended in Gears of War 2. So I want to thank everyone for making this possible. Kind of a dark note to end it on, I'm sorry. I want to thank the patrons for making this possible. Hopefully the next video will be happier. And I want to thank everyone for making this possible. Yeah, it's not going to get brighter from here. Yeah, I think I ended it right. Thank everyone for making it possible, patrons, and everyone for watching. That's how it should go. So, in the next video, you can kind of guess who it's going to be about to end this sad September, we can call it. We'll be back with that one, and we'll go on from there and talk about our final member of the sad... There something mattered. Let's say that. So, yeah, I will see you guys next Thursday. Well, not next Thursday. The next time we release. This is the last big month we have before November comes. We'll have 2 there, and then the ending. And, yeah, we'll go from there. And you guys have a good one. Later!